spread out over 2 days, and they began it yesterday with a 3-0 drubbing of Northern Vermont University at Linden. They look to continue that today with a couple of games, first against Salve Regina University and then against Base College later in the afternoon. Live from the Clark Athletic Center in Boston, Massachusetts, my name is Milton Posner. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with some stats and analysis to preview this one for you. Should be a good couple of matchups, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
And we're back. We thought we'd start off by getting into a little bit of the all-time series between these teams. They have played 3 matchups, first in 2011, then in 2014, and in 2019. And quite frankly, it's been all UMass Boston in those 3 matchups, winning all 3 by a combined 9-1. The last game coming in 2019 with Carson Commons leading the way with 32 assists for this UMass Boston program. So Salve Regina is working a little bit of an uphill challenge, historically speaking, today. And they're going to have to do it behind one of their elite outside hitters, the sophomore Brighton Solheim, who's going to be the focus of our matchup showcase today, along with Emilia Chepievska for the Beacons, both of them leading their team in kills. Brighton Solheim coming in with 23, Emilia Chepievska with 39. Difference between the two, Solheim's a sophomore, young talent for the Salve Regina team looking to make a push. Chepievska is what you'd call a super senior, one of the veteran leaders for this Beacons squad. But before we go to some of the rest of the stats and analysis, we have a little bit of a highlight package here for yesterday's game. Once again, UMass Boston beating the University, Northern Vermont University at Linden by a score of 3-0. We're going to show you some of the highlights from that game and then get you back to some more analysis in just a couple of minutes. UMass Boston has played 5 matches. Salve has played just 2 on the season. But here we have it. Salve doing a little bit better in the kills per set category and assists per set. But UMass Boston's had some tougher opponents and is trying to hang tough, doing very well in the aces category and trying to up that hit percentage. Each of these teams has got some forces behind them that are going to be leading the way for them. For the UMass Boston Beacons, that's going to be more Amelia Chepieska's territory. Marcel Tiscareño has been having an excellent year from the efficiency standpoint. And Carson Comets leading the way with assists. We'll talk a little bit more about her later on. Alyssa Ruan leading the way in digs and Taryn Bruegel stuffing at the net. For Salve Regina, again, only a couple of matches, but so far Nicole Terabyte has been doing very well up at the net, 30 kills per name. Brighton Solheim, who we mentioned in the intro, has been doing very well at the net, sophomore 5'11". She has been very active on the defensive end, and Kate Murphy leading the way in saves there. But Amelia Chepieska, the real standout on this board, 39 kills through 5 matches. And you might think she's crazy for biting this off with volleyball at the same time. As well, then again, I think anyone with a STEM major has got to be pretty crazy to take it on. But with an engineering and physics with a concentration in mechanical engineering major to her name, Chepieska's got a lot going on and off the court.
I am an engineering physics major with a concentration in mechanical engineering, and my end goal along with this major is to work in aerospace engineering and go to grad school at some point later on. I think when I was younger, I was always kind of good at math and it really interested in me. And I like being creative, and it was an easy way to combine both creativity and science and math all in one. Aerospace engineering is interesting to me because I always thought the overall idea of space and just like exploring space is really cool because there is just truly so much we don't know about it. So I guess that would just be kind of something cool to explore and something new. And like I said, we don't know much about it, so if I could help, I guess, find a way or find some things new out, I guess I would love to have my name on that. I think creativity and engineering, like you said, kind of, people don't think of that in hand in terms, but I think especially in design engineering, which is what I'm really interested in, it is really kind of like open-ended, especially, I don't know, if you get a project of some sort, you know, make this, it's just super open-ended, you can do whatever you want. It's just really about doing what you like the best, and I think like math and the science part of it is only like the part you need to know what to create, but in order, I guess the first step is finding out what you want to create and what you want to do. So you do have to have some sort of creativity or idea, and then you take the science and math and apply that to the creative idea you have. I balance engineering along with volleyball, I guess, just time management. It is a lot to keep track of, but I think the more in depth you get with your major, the more classes you kind of get to pick and choose what you want to do. So it becomes more interesting and personalized to yourself, and therefore it's easier to kind of stay interested in school and do volleyball at the same time. So for, I'd say about 4 years now, I actually worked at a children's engineering museum. I know that's kind of it's a fun job. It's a super fun job just because you do get to work with a lot of young kids who, once again, have super creative minds and open-ended minds, and you get to kind of start slow, do like a bunch of little small engineering projects, and I think, once again, working with kids, it expands your mind. It's like, oh, I can do it this way, I can build this. And then for the past 2 years, and actually right now, I've had an engineering and manufacturing internship where I've kind of got to apply what I've learned in school, like using CAD software and design, into, you know, what I'm working on and what I want to do in the future.
Coming to you now with the starters out there for Salve Regina. We got Sienna DeSico, the 5'9" freshman setter out of Severna Park, Maryland. We've got Brighton Solheim, the outside hitter spot, who we talked about in the early going. We've got Lauren Alholm and Nicole Terabyte joining her, both expected to be big parts of the offense. Madison Lee, the outside hitter, the other 20-plus kill outside hitter for the Seahawks. And rounding out the starting lineup is number 19, Megan Corkery, the middle blocker, 5'11" junior out of North Kingstown and Sounderstown, Rhode Island. For the UMass Boston Beacons, it's going to be some of the same starters that we've seen the first 5 games of the season, and they're going to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Tony Guerra, and I'm a freshman DS from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Hi, I'm Amelia Chepievska, and I'm an extra super senior outside hitter from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Carson Kominsk, a senior setter from Columbus, Ohio.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Ramon, and I'm a freshman DS from Quincy, Massachusetts.
Hi, my name is Taryn Brogel. I'm a junior middle blocker from Brantford, Connecticut.
Hi, I'm Marcel Piscareño. I'm a senior middle blocker from El Paso, Texas.
We are just seconds away from the opening of what proves to be a fantastic match here from the Clark Athletic Center. We're going to take a quick cut to commercial and be right back with the opening tip here, the opening serve from Boston. We'll be right back.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
And finally, before we get going, we've got the match here for the Beacons. First one, try to carry over some of the momentum from last night's game. It was the most resounding win they've had this 3-0. None of the sets particularly close. To try to keep that going, they'll have to limit big 3 for Salve Regina. 3 outside hitters got 20-plus kills to their name. That would be Solheim. That would be Nicole Carabite. That would be Madison Lee, senior over Florida. And finally, serve aggressive and smart. This has really been critical for them the last couple games. 17 service errors and a loss they caught 2 days ago, followed up with a program record 31 aces. As the serves go, so go the. We're going to take a break right here for the answer. Right back.
We want to do theater that is responsible. We want to do music that is evocative and elevates us. We want to do dance that reflects urban movement and connection. I've been a practicing designer for the last 30 years. My specialty is costumes. This space is fantastic. This is our recital hall, and it's so outstanding that many people compare it to the symphony hall because the quality of sound is like nothing in town. And there is the painting studio, the sculpture studio, the digital studio. The type of students that we're getting, they're more competitive. They're looking for these kind of facilities. They look at other private colleges, but then decide to come here. Boston is filled with regional theaters, so our students can actually apply what they're learning and build a portfolio. And it's so great to see their names on the programs, and people may not know they're from UMass Boston, but eventually as they graduate and they begin to get professional jobs and you see their bios, that's going to be UMass Boston. It's going to be the stamp all over. UMass Boston represents what true liberal arts is about. In my class, you have students who are psychologists, business, chemistry. The final goal is that we have well-rounded global citizens graduating from UMass Boston.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management, the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
just about ready to get things going from the Clark Athletic Center in Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Milton Posner. Thank you very much for tuning in to our broadcast. For the Beacons, something of a tune-up matchup, something of a momentum matchup. It comes at a strange point in the season, right about to start conference play, and yet trying to piece together in the season after the one that the pandemic gobbled up. But they seem loose. They seem together. What head coach Michael Houlihan in his 8th season has been trying to build out of the ashes of the pandemic, try to defend a conference championship. He says they're only focused on this game. They're not looking any further ahead than they need to at the moment. The ball rolls out, looking to win his first consecutive game streak of the season. And here we go. It's an opening hit and sails off of the back line. First point goes to the visiting Seahawks. Juan into empty space. And it's a free ball here for the Seahawks. And down. Block there from Piscareño. She subs off in favor of Taryn Brogel. And that's the Beacons' first point here, even in the score in the first set. And it will be Alyssa Ruwan serve, the freshman libero defensive specialist from nearby Quincy, Massachusetts. Over she goes. That one was going out, but she gets a point out of it. Reaching for it and poking it was Nicole Karabite, one of the leading outside hitters here for the Seahawks. 2-1 now. And yet another one. Sailing toward the line. Karabite makes a play and can't corral it. Back-to-back aces here for Alyssa Ruwan. Seahawks change up the formation just a little bit. They do not want a third consecutive ace. It looks to be the first one they'll return cleanly, and a miscommunication there. Hands a third consecutive point to the Beacons there. Disconnect between Brighton Solheim and Madison Lee, two of the leading outside hitters for Salve Regina. And it's 4-1. Here goes Ruwan. This one's shorter. Sliding dig there. And a free ball to the Beacons here. The first one Salve Regina's returned in a while. Does it matter? Amelia Chepievska to the outside. And the service run continues. Chepievska, 6-foot graduate outside hitter, the super senior. And finally, this one sails out of bounds to end the service run. 5-2 now. The Beacons have nicely established themselves on the front foot here as Nicole Karabite takes the serve for Salve Regina. Up, tip, failed block there. They're flailing. It's down. Ball's kind of being popped up into the air on the Salve Regina side. The communication not always happening. As a substitution, Tony Guerra gives way to Livia Trindade for the Beacons. Sophomore 6'1" hitter, São Luís, Brazil. And it's Carson Kamensk on the serve here. Solid one. First real hit for the Seahawks, and it is down. Off the fingertips of the blocker. And just south of the 10-foot line for the third Seahawk point of the first set. 6-3 now. Serve is up. Oh, and Chepievska. The big hack at it. And then saves the tip. And they're ruling that one in on a cross-court hit there. It looked like Commons getting that one down and denying the Seahawks momentum. Up and over. Ooh, almost a carry there for the Beacons, but they recover and get it over. Oh, and a nice hit there. Caitlin O'Brien up and over the net. A lot more back and forth than it was in the early going. The Alyssa Ruan 4-point service run is accounted for the lead here. Ruan once again doing a nice job fielding these in the backcourt. They're hit. Alex Kiosa on the spike, couldn't get anything from it. Another nice dig from Ruan. And a nice idea from Carson Kamensk, but Brianna Henderson couldn't quite take care of it. And a point goes to the Seahawks. Salve Regina looking to even up the set with a nice service run here. They've got Brighton Solheim, the sophomore outside hitter, serving it here. It's over. Dig by Kiosa. Spikes it out by about a foot to the back line, and Salve Regina finally starting to swing the momentum here. Solheim looking for a service run to match Alyssa Ruan's from a few minutes ago. And she won't get it. 3 feet past the back line, and the Beacons have their 8th point of the set. Serve moves to Taryn Brogel, junior hitter from Branford, Connecticut. Getting extended playing time. Didn't get a ton in what was her freshman season in 2019, but looking to play a major role here and serving long again. Had quite a few of those in the early going. She gives way to the libero Alyssa Ruan, who joins Alex Kiosa, Olivia Trindade, Carson Kamensk, Marcel Tiscareño, and Emilia Chepievska out there for UMass Boston. Looking to hold on to a 1-point lead in the first set and missing that opportunity. We're all tied at 8 as the dig fell flat against the underside of the net. Now it's Madison Lee looking for some momentum here for the service spot. Meeting Alex Kiosa. Tiscareño blocked just enough to make it playable. Fantastic block there by a couple of Beacon players, and it'll lead to a point. Trindade and Tiscareño at the net. Trindade looking to give way to Tony Guerra, and does. Guerra will take the ball for the serve. Beacons looking to build on a 3-0 win over Northern Vermont University Linden last night in the tournament opener, as the Seahawks even the score up at 9. A resounding win by pretty much any measure you want to use. Combined score of 75-28 and a program record 31 aces. Tony Guerra, who just served the last ball, had 10 of them herself. Tied for second most in program history. Ruan with a dig, and they couldn't elevate the ball above the net. First lead of the set for Salve Regina. 10-9. Jamie Harrington, the freshman, stepped to server spot. Pause to mop up the floor here. Seahawks led by second-year coach Sebastian Nord. See a couple of younger coaches here opposite Michael Houlihan, his 8th season at the helm of UMass Boston. See the kind of success the coach in his position can usually only dream of. Perennial contenders and looking to do the same here. First season coming out of the pandemic. Kamensk with a nice dive there to keep it in play. What a play by Carson Kamensk. Sacrificing her body, hitting the floor to keep that one alive. The Beacons tie the score. Alex Kiosa now stepping to the server's square. For Kamensk and assists, nothing new. Came into this game with 108 on the season. And with that one, she ties Emma Rasha for 3rd place on the all-time program list. We'll pass her with the next one. That ball tipped off the block and down for the Seahawks. They take an 11-10 lead. Comments now. 1,499 assists in her Beacon career. 1,500, a fitting way to pass them up. Could it be here? Returned here by the Seahawks. A dig there by Kiosa. Comments setting up Chepievska. Just out in the 1,500th. The one that will give her sole possession of third place still eludes her. That one is over. Nice dig there. Comments setting up. Piscarreño blocked. And a fantastic play there by Salve Regina. A couple of players at the net. Nicole Karabike and Megan Corkery. That will take us to the first break in the set as Michael Houlihan not wanting to let this one get away from his team. After jumping out to a 7-4 lead, UMass Boston falls behind 13-10 to Salve Regina, but still very much within reach here. As long as we got a break, take this chance to talk a little bit more about Carson Commons in anticipation of what she's about to do. She started the season 6th on the program assist list, 1387.
Paris
has since passed Trisha Alloway, Randall Stock, about to pass Emma Racha, unless this match goes seriously south for her. Only players that will be ahead of her at that point. Pepper Baker, whose 1,862 assists could be within reach, and Cassie Hanneman, who has such an outsized lead in this category, it almost makes you wonder if she played 10 years for this team. More than double anyone else in program history, more than 4,000 assists. Was among the best setters in Division III in her day, led the Beacons to several LEC titles, their first regional championship at the NCAA level, a national tournament appearance, the highest ever ranking in the program's history, 1,000 assists in 3 of her 4 seasons, 55 assists in a match at her peak. And last year was named to the Little East Conference Hall of Fame, the first player from her program to make it in, and following her head coach, Terry Condon. They take the hardwood again. Salve Regina serving 13-10 in the first set. Comments setting up Chepievska. There it is! 1,500 career assists for Carson Kamensk, and third place on the all-time program list. Been a magnificent career for her in pretty much every respect. She's not done. Going to be long on the hit there from Brighton Solheim. Some of the Salve hitters have had a difficult time avoiding that back out of bounds area. Referees trying to communicate with the table, make sure they have this correct. Listen on, wait, ball in. The amount service fun, like the one she fired off the first few minutes of the game. Substitution here for the Seahawks. Nia Lang coming on. And we're ready to get going again. Here is Ruan. Sharp serve to the back. Oh, what a dig from Ruan, but she can't keep it in bounds. Playing very well in the back there. But that one just a bit too tough to corral as the serve goes back to Salve Regina and Nicole Karabite. Oh, tricky one there to handle. Bruegel turns it into a good swing. Blocked. Ruan digs it. Kamensk saves it. Joseph puts it in. Good save by the Beacons, but they still got to defend, and they do! Kamensk and Bruegel at the net. What a point for UMass Boston. The hustle, the athleticism, the teamwork on full display there from Michael Houlihan's squad. not letting the Seahawks slip away from them, trying to keep their momentum from a 3-0 win yesterday. They want this first set badly. As Kamensk moves to serve. Oh, and another block! Shepievska at the net. Bruegel with her too. They are winning the momentum back through the blocking game. Keeping Kamensk there at server spot. Oh, they tried again. Oh! Shepievska. It's a block party over there. Nothing gets by. And the Beacons lead at 15-14. Comments again. Oh, that's a tricky serve to handle. And it's an ace. Carson Comments doing all kinds of damage there. And Sebastian Nordzi wants a timeout to talk things over with his squad. Down the stretch of the first set they come. The Beacons have seized the momentum there with some fantastic play above the net to keep the tips, the spikes, all manner of attacks from even getting to their back line. We get a look at some of the resume for Michael Houlihan, and it really does speak for itself. Co-head coach his first few years, took sole control of the program in 2006. The task he's got in front of him now, and one he acknowledges, is trying to get together a team after not practicing, not playing, no strength and conditioning, at least not together. For 18 months due to the pandemic, they're finally back. I mean, you can see everybody masked, precautions still in play. We're all masked up here. Reminder of what they didn't have, a reminder of what Michael Houlihan is having to guide his team back from. With 10 returners and 8 new players, no returning liberos. Makes the play of Alyssa Ruan so far a very welcome sight for him. Everyone's competing for time. He will have some decisions to make. For now, he can see if his team can keep this momentum going. Ruan with a nice dig. Kamensk. Oh, and just out by a matter of maybe 4 inches. As Alex Kyosa just a bit long on the attack from the back row. 16-15 now. Kate Murphy, junior defensive specialist, takes the serve. And that one tipped long out of bounds, point to the Beacons. Got a sub in here. It's Ali Dean for the first time this morning. Strolling on to join Kamensk, Ruan, Trindaje, Shepievska, and Kyosa. And failing to make a difficult dig there as the lead trimmed back to 1. Serve is up. Kyosa takes it in front of Ruan. Kamensk up. Trindaje, and it goes right into the crux of the net. Even the score at 17. Well, if the Beacons were looking for a first set as easy as the one they had yesterday against NVU Linden, they've been sorely disappointed. Brogel to the back. Turned nicely. Seahawks and a beautiful smash down the line from Madison Lee. That is what Madison Lee will do for you. 5'8" senior outside hitter. Top 3 on the team in kills through their first 2 matches. On with a dig. Kyosa tip and outside the lines. Lead goes back to Salve Regina in the middle of a service run here. From Morgan Lee, the 5'4" junior libero. Up, Kyosa smash. Oh! Hello back line, hello point. And Alex Kyosa at just 5'7", getting way above the net to put that one away. Karen Brogel now taking the serve for the Beacons, looking for a run to put this set in hand. That one's up, stuffed, but not quite at the net. Trindaje was there, but just a small gap there between her hands and the net. And the hit from Madison Lee snuck through. Lee with a smart serve, diving dig. Oh! How about that point? Allie Dean with a beautiful dig. And Marcel Tiscareño finding the room down the opposite sideline on the tip. Serving now Tony Guerra. 10 aces yesterday, if you can believe that, in a 3-set match nonetheless. But she's not going to get another one here as Salve handles that one nicely. 21-19. They're getting increasingly claustrophobic here. 21-19. We're going to go to a quick break for the last of the first set. We'll be right back. You don't want to miss the end of this one.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Welcome back. Just about ready to resume here. Part of the Babson College Women's Volleyball Invitational Tournament. Some of the games happening here, some of them happening 14 miles west down the road in Wellesley. All three of UMass Boston's opponents. At North Vermont University, Linden yesterday. And then the two teams here today, Salve, Regina, and Bates, also playing there. 6-team tournament. Tiscareño to the back. Dug out there. And another block goes awry at the net. It's 22-19 now. As the blocking game for the Beacons that spurred them in the middle of the set, wavering a little bit here down the stretch of the first set. Best of 5 here today. Tiscareño gets up and puts that one down to cut the lead to 2. Kyosin now. Beacons need a run. Trading points at this point in the set isn't going to get them there. They need some momentum. Smart serve there returned. And that one's sailing behind the bench and out of play. 23-20 to the Seahawks at the moment. Couple of substitutions here. Sienna DeSico popping into the game, as does Brighton Solheim in Morgan Lee's stead and in Caitlin O'Brien. Good chance for UMass Boston. Chepievska to the back. That one's down. Critical point here. Courtesy of some accurate playing from Emilia Chepievska. And now Rwanda, the server spot, looking to recapture the early set magic. Call it good serving, call it a good luck charm, whatever have you. Gets a nice one off there. But there's a chance. Great dig from Kyosa to keep it alive. They return it, but it will be a free ball for the Seahawks. The tip is down.
And that'll bring us to the first set point of the morning. 24-21. The Beacons need 3 in a row here. They want to preserve a chance. And here comes the serve. Comments setting up Chepievska. That'll get the job done. There may be Seahawks in the building, but Emilia Chepievska is the one who can fly. Now Comments stepping back to serve. 24-22. The opening set. It's an overpass. Tip there by Trindade at the net. And a miscommunication hands the Beacons a point. A badly needed gimme there. Mike Houlihan barking some instructions to his team, making sure they're all on the same page. The last must-win point to try to bring this set even. Oh, and a service error there from Kamensk. And that is how the opening set will end. 25-23 in favor of the Seahawks. As we're going to take a quick commercial timeout. Be right back to you with some analysis and then the second set. Salve takes the first. We will be right back.
We graduate 17,000 students every year, and the vast majority of them stay in Massachusetts. We have over 280,000 graduates in Massachusetts today. We graduate people in critical fields, engineering, STEM fields. We graduate people with research experience where they can start their own companies. It is amazing to see what UMass graduates accomplish once they leave the university. I remember vividly my own graduation from UMass. It was a beautiful day. It was perfect weather. I remember the pride that my mother and father felt. I could see it in their eyes. Here it is, 30 years later, I get an opportunity to preside over UMass commencement. It is so moving and inspiring for me to think this is what it's for. Here we are, we have these graduates that we're going to unleash on the world, ready to take on the world, happy about the accomplishment, but also hopeful about the future. It's hard not to get emotional at a UMass graduation. You see that UMass is here for the Commonwealth, here for a reason.
An eventful and close first set here between the Seahawks and the Beacons. A lot of great blocking at the net. Some amazing kills there from Emilia Chepievska. Yeah, that one will do for a while. And some great blocks at the net from some of the taller Beacons. Carson Comments moving up a spot on the program assist list as well. Beacons mounting runs in the beginning and middle of the set, but ultimately Salve outlasting them. Communication improving as they went on. And head coach Mike Houlihan going to have some input for his team as they move to the second set. I'm going to give you some updates from the rest of the world of UMass Boston sports. We've got women's tennis hosting Western Connecticut State this afternoon. This is the Little East Conference opener for them. Cross country visiting Smith College for an invitational. Women's soccer hosting Endicott College 3 days after volleyball played them. And we've also got another volleyball match coming your way after this one ends. That one's going to start around 3 p.m. You can watch it more or less where you're watching this one right now. You can always check the schedule page on the UMass Boston Athletics website for live stats, for links to watch, and for all kinds of other tidbits of information that you probably like to know. Just about ready to start the second set here. For the Seahawks, going to be Megan Corkery, Cole Carabite, Caitlin O'Brien, Wright Solheim, Madison Lee, and Lauren Alholm start off the set. For the Beacons, Marcel Piscareño, Carson Comments, Emilia Chepievska, Karen Brogel, Alex Kiose, And Allie Dean joining the starters after not starting the first set, but coming in a little bit of a boost. And now Alyssa Ruan takes the place of Brogel. Going to be a set to rebound for UMass Boston. Looking to start it off strong with Kiosa from the server spot. Animated couple of benches, and here we go. Sharp serve there. Hit outside, right at the feet of the far corner line judge. And the Beacons start off the set on the right foot. Here's Kiosa. Serving short, right into the thick of the net, and gives the point back. Hopping on now, Kate Murphy, the libero for Seahawks. Over, Kiosa takes it. Comments getting up. Oh, and a big hit there from Tiscareño. And that one will yield a point. It was a violent hit there from Marcel Tiscareño, such that it hit the top of the net and still had some juice to make it difficult for the receiving team. And here's Alyssa Ruan to get it started. A great low serve there, but a nice return from the Beacons. And that's a point well earned. Great dig there to make it easier for them and set up Madison Lee on the near side. Kate Murphy serving now. Tepievska, kind of a low-lying hit. Oh, and a brilliant block there. We saw some of that in the first set. Brogel and Chepievska, the dynamic duo above the top of the net there. Handing the serve back to the Beacons with a 3-2 lead. Trying to get the substitution straight here. It looks like Ariana Gordon's Houlihan's going to send her back to the bench. Livia Trindaje will pop in for Allie Dean. Joining Brogel and Chepievska there at the front line. And a great serve from Kamensk. But again, the Seahawks take a great Beacon serve and handle it nicely to even up the score. Serve here from Brighton Solheim, handled nicely by Ruan. Kiosa, up and over. And this time Madison Lee goes long. She's had a couple of good kills to open the set, but misfires there. Very back and forth opening to the second set. Neither team really gaining much of a foothold here. Ilya Chepievska serves that one over. Very visibly taller than just about everyone else here. And Taryn Brogel doing it by herself at the front of the net now. Chepievska steps back to serve. Brogel says, "Nah, I got this." Consecutive points here for the Beacons, looking to build the momentum. Great dig from, calm dig from Chepievska, but Kiosa couldn't quite get up high enough. And service revert to the Seahawks. Madison Lee now. Handled by Ruan. Comments with a set for the tip. Oh, and a great swing there from Nicole Karabych. 5'7" outside hitter from Green Lawn, New York. Salve's had a pretty evenly distributed attack here in the early going. Haven't had to call some of the most common names as regularly as you'd think. They've spread it around. Brogel with a difficult swing there, and it'll yield a free ball for the Beacon. Comments to Kiosa. Tipped at the net. Overpass. And the tip war won by the Seahawks. That'll give them a 1-point lead, 6-5 over the Beacons here. Salve took the first set 25-23 over UMass Boston. Ruan. Kamensk. Trindaje stuffed at the net by Karabych. And what looked to be a brief amount of Beacon momentum has turned into a Seahawks swing. Mike Houlihan wants the break, so we're going to take one too. We're going to go to a quick commercial and be right back with some more action in the Clark Athletic Center in Boston, Massachusetts. Stick around.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Salve Regina leading UMass Boston 7-5 in the second set after winning the first. Stymieing the Beacons from getting any kind of momentum behind them. Mike Houlihan trying to cobble together some momentum from a team that he recognizes they've got to build foundations, they've got to build fundamentals together after a year and a half of getting to know each other and kind of staying as a team through Zoom exclusively. Zoom's great for a lot of things. It's maybe not the best thing for playing volleyball. So they know they've got some ground to make up like a lot of the teams around them. Whoever wins the communication race is going to have an advantage here in this young season. Comment. Trindaje and Livia Trindaje is having a little bit of trouble getting the ball over the net. Some of these had a couple of good blocks. But it's another point for the Seahawks coming out of the timeout. Oh, and Chepievska kind of shanked the dig there in the back corner. 9-5, biggest lead of the set for Salve Regina. Madison Lee trying to continue the service run. Comment. Setting up Chepievska, goes long. 10-5, Seahawks. Chepievska's big. Super senior, standing 6 feet tall. She was leaping from well back at the 10-foot line. Comments with a save, setting up Brogel, rather nicely. Oh, Ruan with a diving dig, setting up Comments. Chepievska with a tip. That is how it's done. That is how you break a service run. Oh no, they got it off the floor. Beacons were surprised by it. Everyone's surprised by it. This point's still going. Comments with a setup. Trindaje with a tip. Comments saves it. Ruan. Joseph off the net. Diving save. And that's the point. The Beacons were into the huddle. They, and I think a lot of people in this build, thought that ball was down. But just barely saved by the Seahawks. They had to break out of the huddle and recover. Honestly, that's more impressive than winning the point outright. Tony Guerra, 10 aces yesterday, looking for another. Instead, it's going to be returned. Joseph, off the net and down. Found the empty patch of hardwood. A little bit of skill, a little bit of a fortuitous bounce there. Tony Guerra gets to stay in the server's spot. Back-to-back points here for the Beacons. Here's Guerra. Tricky serve to handle. Okiosa, this is going to be a tough one to return really well. And they manage. A block at the net, but it squirts through. through Tiscareño and Alex Kiosa. And the Seahawks win back the serve. 11-7. Salve Regina's favor. Kelsey Pereira joining the action for the Beacons for the first time today. Ruan comments. An overpass, and that one to the near side of the antenna. 12-7. Server now Jamie Harrington, the freshman defensive specialist. And into the net. Beacons will take the free point. Livia Trindade gives way to Allie Dean. And Dean marches to the server spot. (25-23) on the first set in Salve's favor. 10-8 in the second. 12-8, excuse me. And that one off the net and out of bounds in UMass Boston's favor. Allie Dean just into the game. Looking for a run. Off the hands of Tony Guerra, shanked it over the scorer's table, 13-9 now. UMass Boston's had some good rallies in this set, but has not mustered up a streak of 3 straight points. Salve has, and that's been the difference so far. Guerra comments. Tiscareño with a gallop. And it'll earn them a free ball. Setting up, Kelsey Pereira. Oh, and a nice diving save there. Keeps this one in. How about this rally? Gordon with a tip. And it's a violation called against the Seahawks. Will give the point to UMass Boston. Tricky set ends in interesting fashion, to say the least. Joseph checks in. Kelsey Pereira, after a brief run, goes to the bench. Jose, Ali Dean, Tony Guerra, Marcel Tiscareño, Carson Commons, and Emilia Chepievska out there for head coach Mike Houlihan. That serve is long. 14-10. Tricky for the Beacons every time they start to close the gap. Occasionally an error, but more often than not, Salve finds the hardwood. Comments setting up Chepievska. Oh, and that's a nice block. Chepievska has been out flying the Seahawk defense more often than not so far today, but can't get that one over the double block. That one's long. Another free point for the Beacons. Leads down to 4. Karen Brogel in for Tiscareño. Alyssa Ruan back to serve. Over. Tricky one to handle. It's close to the net. And it gets him a point. Ruan stands back and lets that one sail out of bounds at her coach's feet. 15-12. Get another chance for UMass Boston to really take the momentum, and the serve is well long. The first 3-point streak of the second set still eludes these Beacons. Tate Murphy, the libero, steps back to handle the serve. Over it's long, Ali Dean backing up to field it. Chepievska, that'll get it done. Emilia Chepievska flying high again. We highlighted her at the beginning of the match, somebody with 39 kills through the first 5 matches, often against some difficult teams. You show her a porous defense, she will make you pay. Be on your game. And that one's soaring in between Kiosa and Trindade. 17-13 now. The Beacons running out of time to close the gap in the second set. They need to make their move soon. Morgan Lee serves it. Comments. Chepievska. Oh, what a clever tip. The super senior savvy, saw the block coming and just tapped it over the blocker's head down the line. The IQ, the awareness, the spatial awareness from Chepievska. And her first serve is going to be an ace. 17-15, closest the Beacons have been in a while. Chepievska dialing in her serve. It's a good one. Going to yield a free ball. Chepievska, comment. Kiosa just gets it over. When life gives you lemons. 1 point game. It was a missed pass connection. The Kiosa just kind of flailed at and tipped into the very top of the net. But whatever gets the job done. Free ball. Blocked. Comments recovered. To Ruan. Kiosa running tip. Hardwood. Tie game. The Beacons come back after being stymied at seemingly every opportunity. And head coach Sebastian Nordzi over on the Salve Regina bench wants to talk it over. It's 17-17. And the run has come from all around play. Alex Kiosa finding hardwood a couple of times. Chepievska leading the way with a couple of dominant hits. And good serves to put the Seahawks on their back claws. Salve took the first set 25-23. UMass Boston has one win this season after coming back from down 2-0. They'd much rather be on even footing 10 minutes from now. We got about 30 seconds left in the timeout. Alex Kiosa doing a terrific job, often in ways you maybe wouldn't think. He's been finding all kinds of tiny seams. Impressive story for her that she even found herself here. Comes from Greece. They don't have high school sports there. You kind of have to play club. Started playing basketball at age 8. Switched to track for a year when the new town didn't have women's basketball. Started volleyball at 13. And when she moved to the United States as a high school senior, used as a chance to make friends at an age when social circles are already set. It was tough to navigate some things, not just the social circles, but English slang, volleyball terms, the pace of speaking. Difficult to adjust, but here she is, expected to play a critical role on a team where a lot of players are being asked more of in terms of additional versatility, in terms of their overall role, the number of sets they're out there playing. Alex Kiosa rising to the challenge in the way that Coach Houlihan wants from her. Tough serve to handle. Nice hit, diving dig Ruan, but it'll fall nonetheless. Lead back to Salve Regina right out of the timeout. Chepievska relinquishes the serve that got them to this point. But it's a competitive set now. It always was. Now the lead's a lot closer. Kiosa. Comments taking that one away from Chepievska. Kiosa off the block and down. She can't play above the net quite the way Chepievska can, the way Brogel can. But Alex Kiosa finding ways to get the job done. Targeting well. Jumping well. Tony Guerra. Quick serve. Salve. And that hit'll get the job done too. Nicole Karabych. 19-18 Seahawks. Olivia Trindade, Alyssa Ruan, Alex Kiosa, Emilia Chepievska, Carson Kamensk, and Marcel Tiscareño out on the UMass Boston side of the floor. Chepievska field. Tip. Wow. The accuracy on her tip is nothing short of remarkable in this second set. She's got a few points that way. Last one down the sideline. This one targeting right in the middle of the floor to the one spot out of Seahawk range. Allie Dean to the back right corner. Tip. Chepievska with a diving save. Joseph. Down. The Beacons take the lead. How's this for a momentum swing? Dean again. Into the top of the net. 20 all. A 25-point set just turned into a 5-point set. Deanna DeSico serving this one, wearing the wrong numbers. Usually wears number 2, as a matter of fact. Does it right into the forearms of Ruan. Tiscareño. Tough one to handle. There'll be something of a free ball here. Joseph Fields comments. Tiscareño. Oh, how about that return? Kate Murphy on a Tiscareño swing that looked like it wouldn't be handleable. That's the kind of point that'll swing a tough set. Back-to-back points for the Seahawks. Beacons looking to recover. Joseph just out by a matter of inches. The service run continues. 22-20. Mike Houlihan wants to talk to his team before this one slips away. They're within range here just like they were in the last set. So very doable for the Beacons. It's been Emilia Chepievska and Alex Chiose leading them down the stretch of the set. Team that getting itself healthy, building its foundations. They've looked good in long runs today. But Mike Houlihan acknowledges with 10 returning and 8 new players who haven't played together, they're really working from a basics foundation kind of standpoint. The goal is to peak later in the season. Marcel Tiscareño said, we don't have trust yet. We don't have the time that we would have had last season to build trust and build communication. She says the super seniors should help in building it. Chepievska, Carson comments, some of the leaders on this team. The vets are sharing knowledge with the newbies. But Mike Houlihan acknowledges, he says, you can't write a novel if you can't write. You need the foundation before you start to add the more complex movement strategies. At that point, once that is in place, he expects the growth to come quickly. The end of the set's coming quickly, too. Beacons looking to make their push. Tiscareño. Tip blocked. Free ball here. Ruan. Kamensk. Tiscareño with a gallop. Wasn't pretty, but it gets the job done. She really loves that cross-court swing, the gallop into a leap. Moving laterally instead of charging the ball. Mixed results for her in this set due to some good Seahawk blocking, but she gets it done there. That's an ace. 22-22, courtesy of number 22. That's Kelsey Pereira, the 5'8 senior hitter from Acushnet, Massachusetts, Fairhaven High. Another good serve. Backspinning return. And a violation. Beacon lead. They're 2 points away from evening up this match. Pereira. Into the Seahawk clutches. Ruan off the ceiling. They have a chance to return this. Chepievska gets it over, but a very much free ball here for the Seahawks. The leap. That's down. Soaring through the air is Karabike to even up the set at 23 apiece. Terabyte getting to step to the server spot. That hit the ground just in front of the hands of Kelsey Pereira. And yet another 24-23 set point here for the Seahawks. UMass Boston once again so close. Dugout, Kamensk, Shepievska. We're even. (24-24) as the super senior saves the set. Kamensk, Shepievska, Ruan, Dean out there. Off the shoulder, that one's down. First set point of the match for UMass Boston. As the serve was fielded off the shoulder there by Madison Lee of the Seahawks. Here's Ruan. Dipping. Just save there. Blocked. But down onto the UMass Boston side. We're even again. 25-25. Win by 2 as usual. Winner's going to need at least 27 here in this set. Dean, what a dive. And Shepievska makes good. Another set point for the Beacons. Carson Kamensk, been one of the better servers in the match for either team so far today. Will get another chance here to seal the set. Fielded in the back by Pereira. Kamensk, Shepievska with a tip. Oh, and a rockstar power slide there to save it for the Seahawks. Kamensk digs it out. It's up, Shepievska. Seahawks, Lee, down. We're tied again. The tug of war continues as Madison Lee, who has been the go-to weapon more often than not for Salve Regina today, comes through in the clutch. Brogel! Set point again for the Beacons. Disposing of that ball with ruthless efficiency. And another promising server here for the Beacon. It's Shepievska. Oh, and she goes long. 27-27. How long is this one going to go? Well, heck, why not? Tweet it. Tweet at the Beacons Athletics account if you got predictions. We'd love to hear them. Madison Lee. Serving, fielded by Ruan. Trindaje, it's blocked. Ruan with a diving save in front of her own bench. And it's a free ball, but they're still in it. Digs it out. Brogel with a tip. Trying to regroup more than anything else. And it was just too much downhill pressure as the Seahawks earn themselves another set point. Madison Lee. Successful server so far today. Pereira tees it up. Shepievska out of the back row. And a free ball here. Stuffed. What a block there by Trindaje. Oh, how fun is this? 28-28 in the second set. Trindaje stuffed it at the net. Tony Guerra now. As good a time as any for one of those aces she had yesterday. How about that? How about that location? 29-28 here in the second set. And Tony Guerra, ball in hand with a chance to seal it. Sliding dig. The ball's over. Shepievska fields in the center back. Tiscareño almost got that one down, but a nice save there from the libero. All even. 29-29. All it took was 25 to take the first set. This one may take 35. No end in sight here. Lauren Alholm, the big looping serve there. Comments. Sets up Trindaje. Oh, just outside, maybe 3-4 inches or so. A 30-29 set point here for the Seahawks. Both teams have had multiple chances. Comments. Tiscareño's blocked at the net. They return the favor. But it's UMass Boston losing this set. The Seahawks take it 31-29. And what a run it was. 2-0 lead in sets for the Seahawks. We got a few minutes here. We're going to take a break and be right back for the third set. Don't you go anywhere. This game's too much fun. You're watching UMass Boston Volleyball.
We want to do theater that is responsible. We want to do music that is evocative and elevates us. We want to do dance that reflects urban movement and connection. I think I'm practicing designer for the last 30 years. My specialty is costumes. This space is fantastic. This is our recital hall, and it's so outstanding that many people compare it to the symphony hall because the quality of sound is like nothing in town. And there is the painting studio, the sculpture studio, the digital studio. The type of students that we're getting, they're more competitive. They're looking for this kind of facilities. They look at other private colleges, but then decide to come here. Boston is filled with regional theaters, so our students can actually apply what they're learning and build a portfolio. And it's so great to see their names on the programs, and people may not know they're from UMass Boston, but eventually as they graduate and they begin to get professional jobs and you see their bios, that's going to be UMass Boston. It's going to be the stamp all over. UMass Boston represents what true liberal arts is about. In my class, you have students who are psychologists, business, chemistry. The final goal is that we have well-rounded global citizens graduating from UMass Boston.
Set if there is one goes to 15. It's a 2-0 lead for Salve Regina here after 2 sets. Both of them very close. We got to look at some of the best plays from the second set here. A lot of great blocking from the front line for the Beacons here. Alyssa Ruan has been putting her body on the line every play. Tiscareño, Chepievska, Livia Trindaje getting on the action a little bit with some of the better kills of the day in this second set. Ultimately did not wind up being enough. It was a 31-29 margin in the second set after a 25-23 mark in the first. It's been terrific action here by pretty much any measure. Amelia Chepievska leading the way for UMass Boston in kills. Carson Commons, as usual, pacing the team in assists. On the Salve Regina side, having great games over there from Madison Lee, Nicole Karabych, Katie O'Brien, more or less the people you would, Caitlin O'Brien, more or less the people that you'd be expecting from each side. With Alex Giosa chipping in a bunch on the UMass Boston side, and Alyssa Ruan with a crazy number of digs. Allie Dean's going to start at the libero spot. Swap jerseys with Ruan. Kelsey Pereira, Marcel Tiscareño, Carson Commons, and Amelia Chepievska to start the must-win third set. Commons tries to flip over. Can't trick the Seahawks. Commons sets up Chepievska. You can't fool him, but Chepievska will overpower him. Dean going to sub it. Effectively, it's Taryn Brogel in for Marcel Tiscareño here as the Beacons take the serve and win the first point as they did in the second set. Question is, can they muster the momentum off of it? Oh, and that was one of those tricky balls. It's kind of hovering above the net. You don't know whose side it's going to fall on, and the Beacons couldn't quite handle it when it was on theirs. Nicole Karabike, the senior, stepping to the server spot. 1-1 here in the third set. 25-23 Salve in the first, 31-29 Salve in the second. Get out of Chepievska's way. The leverage, the angle she can get at her height with her leaping ability. Just outstanding stuff from the super senior. The term super senior that's been used to refer to pretty much anyone who stays beyond 4 years. In the pandemic, that makes it more and more likely. But when you're Amelia Chepievska, you're a super senior one way or the other. Point goes to the Beacons, even it up 2-2. The pass was squibbed off toward the side into the empty space. Tate Murphy serving. This is going to be tough to handle. Trindade blocked. The Seahawks found the angle on her. And Trindade had a tough time. She was handling a pass from a difficult angle. Kind of messed with her run up a little bit. And the blockers took advantage. Tate Murphy, Caitlin O'Brien, Madison Lee, Lauren Alholm, Brighton Sondheim, and Nicole Karabike out there for head coach Sebastian Nordzi. Salve Regina. And tough handle there for Allie Dean. That's going to be an ace. Seahawks haven't had a ton of aces here in the early going. But starting to pick up as the match goes on. Murphy. Dean handles this one well. Kamensk. Bruegel short shanked it. And that's going to be a Beacon point. 5-2 in the early going. As once again, Salve building up a lead after UMass Boston takes the opening point. Service run going on here. Trindade with a bad pass into the back. And Pereira can't corral it. 6-2. Michael Houlihan pacing on the sideline. And calls for time. Third set. No room to spare here. They take a break. We'll take a break too. We're going to go to a quick commercial and be right back from the Clark Athletic Center. Beacons trying to hold on in the third set.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Michael Houlihan having some words with his team, trying to get them back on track here as Salve Regina takes all the momentum in the beginning of the third set. A couple of it were Beacon mistakes, kind of unforced missed passes that made life much more difficult. One missed connection with Trindade that left her victim of a well-timed block. Oh, and Comets with a great save there to turn it into something manageable for Trindade. But that ball finds hardwood right in front of the back line. Salve Regina asserts themselves coming out of Houlihan's timeout. 6-2 in the third. Oh, and Allie Dean slides but can't stop the momentum there. 8-2. And a longer conference there at center court for the Beacons. Try to solve their troubles right now. Comments, Dean, Pereira, Chepievska, Trindaje, and Brogel out there for Mike Houlihan. Oh, Chepievska. Absolute missile. The one constant through the ups and the downs, the momentum swings, the good times and bad this morning has been the graduate hitter Emilia Chepievska. One slapped long by about 4 feet. 8-4. Here come the Beacon. Float serve. Shorts it. Oh! She is a heat-seeking missile. Always seeking the hardwood. Shorts it again, off the tip of the net. This one gives them a chance, and a huge kill there. Madison Lee. Chepievska's opposite has been killing it all game, literally and figuratively. She'll earn her team back to serve. Morgan Lee. Chepievska. Short shots it over. It's a free ball. And converted by the Seahawks. Seahawks have done well to convert their opportunities, the ones that the Beacons offer them. Dean, Kamensk, Pereira down, off the block, and into an empty path to hardwood. Another timeout called here. It looks like this one's going to Mike Houlihan as well. 10-6. Middle of the third set. Chepievska, 28 attacks, 12 kills. Madison Lee opposite her, 19 attacks, 9 kills. For a better hit percentage. But Chepievska's getting the job done. Alex Josa's got a pretty hit percentage of her own for the Beacon. But for Salve Regina, it's much more spread out. Terabike has got some good ones too. She's leading the way, as a matter of fact, 11 kills on 23 chances. Solheim, Alholm tipped in 3 apiece. For the Beacons, 12 for Chepievska, 7 for Kiosa, as we mentioned. Multiple apiece for Trindaje, for Brogel, for Marcel Tiscareño and Kelsey Pereira. And Alyssa Ruan leading the way with digs. She's in double figures. Chepievska's got 6 on the back row. So Houlihan calling a timeout after his point to try to keep the ship on course. 2-0 set lead for Salve Regina and a 10-6 lead here. That'll be an ace. Taryn Brogel, junior hitter who did not get a ton of playing time her freshman year, but is being pressed into greater service this season. Coaches like what they're seeing. The teammates like what they're seeing from her in practice. Oh, and she dives to keep that one alive. There's a free ball, but the set is still going. Brogel, come on here. Trindaje with a tip. And earns a point. Taryn Brogel with a couple of Superman dives to keep that rally going and to keep her service run alive along with it. Serve to the back corner. It's a good chance for the Beacons, but it's right to Chepievska. Comment. Cross court, Pereira. That'll do it. 10-9. They get the job done. Brogel's got all the confidence in the world right now. Steps for her 4th straight serve. Off the tip of the net, just made it over. Brogel with a dig. Comment to Pereira. Missed it a little bit, wound up being kind of an impromptu tip. Blocked at the net. But the point goes to the Seahawks. Tip lands out of bounds. Taryn Brogel exits, having put her Beacons within striking distance here. 11-9. They made the last set very interesting as Chepievska misses the dig there. Kind of overlapped with a newcomer, Alyssa Dean. Or Allie Dean, excuse me. Kind of tapped her on the shoulder and tried to tell her something. I think she's maybe saying that's my ball. Into the net. Free point for the Beacons. A couple of service errors there that have buoyed UMass Boston comebacks. They made the last set very interesting. Each team with multiple set points ultimately went Salve Regina at 31-29. I think Michael Houlihan would be just as happy playing ahead, which he has not gotten to do by more than a point or two deep into any set. Oh, what a dive there by Tiscareño to keep it alive. That one is, oh, that one's a close one. It's called in. It was very close. At most, it got a very small chunk of the back line. Granted, the line judge is closer than we are. But a very close call there gives the Beacons a 13-10 lead. Comment. Pereira. Been having a hard time getting some downswing on her hits there. Nice dig there from Allie Dean. Past Chepievska's blown. She almost finds hardwood anyway. Oh, what a tip by Karabike. Adjusting midair, recognizing she didn't have the angle, and the senior gets it down. Chepievska comments with a diving save, but can't keep it within reach of a teammate. 15-10. The Beacons lead, excuse me, the Seahawks lead has swelled back to 5. Got to be time for a run in pretty short order, or this one's going to be a 3-set sweep for Salve. Tiscareño, Chepievska, Dean and Ruan. Kamensk, Kelsey Pereira getting extended run here in the 3rd set on the Beacon side. Ruan, Kamensk with a surprise tip. Takes a diving dig to stop it. That one's down. Cross-court hit for the Seahawks, and the biggest lead of any set is going to be a difficult hill for Mike Houlihan's squad to climb. Comments into the net. 7-point gap now. Salve Regina coming into this game 0-2. Looking for their first win of the season after a loss to Wheaton and then to Hamilton last night over in the Wellesley portion of the tournament. UMass Boston is 2-3. Having defeated NVU Linden last night in a 3-set laugher. They're coming back on Keene earlier in the season for their other win. Tiscareño. That'll do the job. She gets a big swing. She's had a couple of those kind of in the center front area where she swings so hard that it almost doesn't matter that it's hitting the front of the net and absorbing some of the momentum. She's getting it there anyway. Tony Guerra, serve queen of yesterday's match. Making things difficult again. But what a hit there, finding empty spot in the opposite sideline. Looked like Madison Lee again. (18-11). Beacons are going to have to double the pace of the Seahawks from the rest of the set if they want to make out with a win here and keep the match alive. Vizcarreño stuffed, recovers nicely. Chepievska tips. Here's a free ball. What will the Seahawks do with it? Gets stuffed there at the net by Ariana Gordon. And a wild rally ends in a Beacon point. Stingy defense at the net. Vizcarreño gives way to Taryn Brogel. Had a magnificent run serving and digs her last time in the game. Allie Dean serves to the back corner. Stuffed at the net. Chepievska and Brogel. There's the set. Chepievska poking out with the left hand there and keeping it alive were the Seahawks. Diving play, Guerra. Ariana Gordon to the back. That's down. 18-13. Back-to-back points. Signs of life for UMass Boston. To the center, right at the 10-foot line. Whoa! That's some kind of hit from Brighton Solheim. Has not been quite as loud as we maybe expected her to be. Just 3 kills on the match. That one makes it 4. 19-13. Guerra. Free ball here as it goes over on the set for the third hit. Tip. Gordon off the net. Too many fish in the can. And they can't communicate quickly enough to stop the ball from landing. Couple of subs here. Alyssa Ruan, Carson Commons in. Jill Francis, Ariana Gordon out. So it's Ruan, Dean, Guerra, Chepievska, Brogel, and Commons. Out there for the last stretch run. And another free point as the serve sails outside the sideline. Commons step into the server spot. They need a run here. Hit for tap won't do it at this point in the match. Commons toward the left side. Oh, Commons with a slap save there to keep that one off the floor. There's a block. Brogel and Chepievska again. Trindaje and Brogel. Oh, slingshot of a right arm there for Chepievska. Gets that one to the floor. 20-15. Same challenge. They've got to double up the Seahawks' pace from here through set's end. That block will get things started. Leads down to 4. Comments back to the server spot. Well, that one's sinking. That just did get over. It made things difficult. A couple of dives here. Chepievska's got a chance out of it. Hits the top of the net. Might have been blocked ever so slightly. And the block wards off the ball at the net. The threat of the block, rather. It's a 3-point game. And a timeout called here by Salve Regina. Mike Houlihan's squad is not done yet. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with the conclusion of what is turning into a thrilling third set.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play,
you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
What looked initially to be a runaway third set win for the Salve Regina Seahawks has instead turned into something that could be as interesting as the second set was. Except this time for UMass Boston, the stakes are a whole lot clearer. It's win or game over time in the third set. Salve took the first set 25-23. Took the second set 31-29. Just in case you're just joining us. Thank you for doing so. Carson Commons to the back. Good dig there to make it playable. Dean again in Shepieska's space, but it works out decently enough. Tony Garrett to her knees on the dig. Chepievska, that one's long. There have been a couple of times when Allie Dean stands 5'4", kind of moving into Chepievska's territory. Chepievska is 8 inches taller than her, so Chepievska takes these balls over Allie Dean's head. I think it's one of those examples that Mike Houlihan pointed out as Taryn Brogel shanks that one into the net, of the growing pains of a team that hasn't had all that much time to practice together. Only had a couple weeks instead of the usual 3 and missed all of last season, as many teams did due to the pandemic. The kinks get ironed out eventually, but for now we watch it play out in real time. Off the blocker and out of bounds, 23-17. 3 straight points out of the timeout for the Seahawks to put UMass Boston on the rope. And they give one back. Off behind the UMass Boston side, we can see the girls from Bates College. We're going to be playing in the next game, and who the Beacons will face in a 3 p.m. game, so you can stick around for that. Trindaje. Allie Dean sets it over. It's a free ball. And they make good. Match point. And the Beacons need 6 straight points to give themselves a chance here. Dean fields it. Trindaje with a set into traffic. They've got a chance. That'll take care of this one. Salve Regina University in 3 sets. 25-23, 31-29, 25-18 handles the UMass Boston Beacons here in the first of what will be 3 games happening at the Clark Athletic Center this afternoon. We've got this one. We've got a second game for which we will have video but not audio. And then I will be back for the third game as UMass Boston takes on Bates College in the tournament capper. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. We will be back we get to talk to head coach Mike Houlihan and give a little bit more analysis before we sign off. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport. allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
And I'm here with head coach Mike Houlihan after a 3-0 loss to Salve Regina. Coach, you talked a lot about trying to get the foundation, trying to get the communication there in the early going of a difficult season. What did you think of how they were moving and communicating out there today?
We didn't have it. It wasn't there. We got to clean that up or we're going to have a tough second match.
We saw Carson Comets get to 1,500 assists. She passed up for third on the all-time program list. What can you say about her and what she opens up for you?
Honestly, at the moment, I don't think she really cares. She's probably one of the better setters that ever come through this program, but for her, it's really about a W or an L, and right now I think she's very pissed.
And lastly, you got a matchup against Bates College in a couple of hours. What would you like to see your team do differently? How would you like to see them adjust before that matchup?
I think she's going to have to regroup right now and change our mindset and our mentality, and when we do that, we can go in with a fresh mind and take it play by play.
Thank you, Coach. We're going to send it to some highlights really quick before some last-minute analysis before we get you going. Let's take it up to the highlights.
feel for why this one shook out the way it did. They really do tell the story. You're looking at blocks. UMass Boston had a decisive edge there. They used it to mount a lot of their best runs with Taryn Brogel and Emilia Chepievska combining to stuff I don't even know how often during those runs, but you can see the number there, 9.5 per set. The hitting percentage tells the story of who won the game in the air. Despite Chepievska's best efforts, the combination of Madison Lee, Nicole Karabike, and some of the support they got really made the difference for them. The digs, Alyssa Ruan did her best, but Salve Regina a little bit more consistent on that end. Now we can look at the team leaders for each squad. You can see Madison Lee with that leading the way in hit percentage for the Seahawks. Caitlin O'Brien coming through with some big blocks. On the UMass Boston side, it's Chepievska and Alex Kiosa really leading the way in kills and hitting. Winning that game, Chepievska above the net. Kiosa with more of a submarine-style attack to get the job done. And Carson Commons, 31 assists, moving her up to 1,526 all-time. That is third best. Pepper Baker's on the list next with a little over 1,800. She will be the next person to pass for Commons. I'd like to thank our production team for all the hard work they put in making this go through. Our producer, Allie Crawford, directors Allie and Tam Landry, Jackson Snyder on the instant replay, Jordan Toomey, Elsa Vanaco, and Hannah McDougall on the cameras. My name is Milton Posner. Thank you so much for tuning into our broadcast. The final score, once again, from Clark Athletic Center. Salve Regina beats UMass Boston 3-0. We're going to have coverage of the next game without a broadcast, or excuse me, without audio, and then we'll be back with full audio